Life Audio.
Welcome to the Crosswalk Devotional. We're glad to have you listening with us. Today's topic is how Jesus calls you to connect with Him personally. We'll return with the devotional after a brief message from our sponsors.
For some of us, personal finances aren't just personal. They include loved ones, neighbors, the communities we call home, and the causes we hold in our hearts. At Thrivent, planning your finances is bigger than just money. We help you put your plans into motion and faith into action so you can do more for the ones in your heart. Because sometimes all you need to make a difference is someone to help you make it happen. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.
What do you think of when you hear the name The Salvation Army? Helping people? Ringing bells at Christmas? Podcasts? Yes, the Salvation Army creates a network of podcasts in both English and Spanish. One of those shows, Words of Life, is a 15-minute weekly show featuring testimonies, interviews, and conversations about topics impacting the church today. On recent and upcoming episodes, we'll be joined by Dr. Craig Keener.
Christianity doesn't rise or fall on Christians. It rises or falls on Jesus Christ.
Bishop for the Global Methodist Church, Dr. Carolyn Moore.
I am consumed by the mind of Christ, and my heart gets broken for the things that break God's heart. I begin now to walk in power.
Nicole Eunice, Rachel Wojo, and more. Listen and subscribe to Words of Life wherever you listen to podcasts, or visit wordsoflifepodcast.org.
Jesus Calls Your Name, written and read by Whitney Hopler. Now Mary stood outside the tomb crying. As she wept, she bent over to look into the tomb and saw two angels in white, seated where Jesus' body had been, one at the head and the other at the foot. They asked her, "Woman, why are you crying?" "They have taken my Lord away," she said, "and I don't know where they have put him." At this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but she did not realize that it was Jesus. He asked her, "Woman, why are you crying? Who is it you are looking for?" Thinking he was the gardener, she said, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have put him, and I will get him." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned toward him and cried out in Aramaic, "Rabboni," which means teacher. John 20:11-16 NIV. This scene after Jesus' resurrection shows Mary Magdalene overwhelmed by sadness, confused by circumstances, and searching for answers. How often have you found yourself feeling the same way in a painful situation? You pour out your heart to God and maybe even direct your frustration at God. Just like Mary, you can also feel lost and abandoned, wondering where God is in the middle of your suffering. Mary is focused on her loss. She's looking for a body, a tangible reminder of someone she loved. She's so consumed by her grief that she misses the most extraordinary truth standing right in front of her. She sees Jesus, but fails to recognize him. She mistakes him for the gardener of the area near his tomb. When have you looked for God, but not found him in the way you expected? When have you been surprised to find God's presence close to you in a way you didn't expect? Jesus doesn't reveal his identity in a dramatic flash of glory. He doesn't rebuke Mary for her lack of recognition either. Jesus simply speaks her name, Mary. When Jesus says that single word, everything changes. It's the voice Mary knows, the voice that spoke life into her soul, the voice that called her out of darkness into light. It's the voice of hope. That single word has tremendous power. It cuts through the fog of grief and misunderstanding as it reminds Mary that her Creator knows her personally and loves her completely. She turns with this new perspective and cries out, Rabboni. Mary's cry of recognition is full of love and joy. As she hears Jesus call her, and as she calls back to him, the reality of the resurrection crashes over her. Jesus is alive, and he is right there with her, personally. This passage isn't just about Mary. It's about each of us, including you. Jesus knows your name. He knows your hopes, your dreams, and your joys. He also knows your struggles, your sorrows, and your fears. He sees you in all of life's ups and downs. He knows every detail of your life at all times. He knows what you're thinking and feeling, and he cares. Jesus constantly calls you by name, speaking words of loving hope over your life. He calls you in a huge variety of ways, such as through the encouragement of the Holy Spirit and through the peace he sent you after you pray. Jesus calls you to turn to him, to recognize him, and to experience the wonder of connecting with him. Just as Mary's perception was changed by the sound of Jesus' voice, yours can be as well. When you hear Jesus call your name, when you recognize that Jesus is right there with you in all circumstances, your confusion can turn into understanding, your sadness can change into joy, and your despair can be replaced by hope. Jesus calls you to move away from the tomb of your distance from him and embrace the reality that he is right there with you personally, ready to give you hope. Intersecting faith and life. As you consider how Jesus calls you to connect with him personally, reflect on these questions. When have you felt like Mary, overwhelmed by grief and searching for answers? Have you ever missed noticing God's presence in your life because you were looking for him in the wrong places? How does the knowledge that Jesus knows your name personally affect your relationship with him? What are some ways you can pay more attention to hear Jesus calling your name in your daily life? Further reading. Isaiah 43:1, John 10:3, Galatians 4:6, Revelation 3:20, Romans 8:28.
The Crosswalk Devotional is a production of Life Audio and Salem Media. If you liked what you heard today, please take a second to rate and review this podcast in your favorite podcast app so that more listeners like you can find the show. For more faith-filled, inspirational podcasts, visit us at lifeaudio.com.
For some of us, personal finances aren't just personal. They include loved ones, neighbors, the communities we call home, and the causes we hold in our hearts. At Thrivent, planning your finances is bigger than just money. We help you put your plans into motion and faith into action so you can do more for the ones in your heart. Because sometimes all you need to make a difference is someone to help you make it happen. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.